general question regarding Munis, and in the process of cutting that over at the beginning of the next fiscal year, which will be 2010. I have two questions. One is, will the new system provide some efficiencies that will help the office out? And two is, in the process of cutover, are we taking into account resources that might be needed to assure that we get it cut over? I haven't seen any changeover in my career, changing systems over where things go smoothly. Generally, it takes extra work and extra effort because you're in the process of making a transition from one system to another. I would expect efficiencies after the fact, but not during the transition period. And I hope we're taking that into account. I know that all the budgets, everyone was requested to come in with 3% cuts in budgets. On the other hand, I hold the department heads responsible for flagging to the board. This is why we're having this hearing, of the impact of doing that. What, are we putting certain things in jeopardy? Are we putting at risk getting the Munis system on board, or whatever else? That's what this is all about, so that we have some idea, because in the end, we have to make some pretty tough decisions going into the budget process, whether or not the idea of just a 3% cut based on, salvaging certain things and taking others is in the best interest of the town. And we need some guidance and direction from you. I mean, if you feel strongly that we have a problem in a particular area, it's going to impact our ability to collect revenue, or get bills out, or whatever, we need to know about it.
Okay. I know that for the collection portion for Munis, that's not in this phase.
Right, we haven't purchased that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. On the treasurer's side,
once it's up and running and we work out all the kinks, I think it's going to be very efficient. It's working out all the kinks. And the department knows that they will have to stay and get some work done because the training's during the day. And there's certain days that certain payrolls, when payrolls put in, when we send the direct deposit and everything. So there's going to be days that it's going to overlap with our training. And they're well aware that they will have to stay to get everything that they need to get done.
okay, the other issue that came up was associated with getting the dealing with citizens that pay their bills through their bank, and it's created a problem from the point of view of not knowing, in a lot of cases, where it should be applied. Have we taken any steps to mitigate that? Are we putting notices out with the bills, or what's the plan in dealing with that issue?
We haven't done anything to that. We haven't. I want to send out a flyer maybe in the bills, but that costs money to have the flyers printed up. I have to talk with our software company to see if they can put a line on the bills, if I could put like a little memo saying if you're going to pay your water bill, please put your account number on it. If you're going to pay your real estate bill, please use your map and parcel. People just, when they pay their bills with these checks, they put whatever was there last. So if they paid their water bill last, they'll have their water account number on there. And it's just research for us to do. So, and we're getting probably about 100 a day, especially when bills are due.
So what we're talking about, for those that are curious looks on your face, it's not paying your bill through the town website. That's not a problem, because when you go to pay it to the town website, which I would encourage people to use, it doesn't cost anything, you actually identify the bill that you're paying. So that the fee that gets transferred to the town is tied to a bill. It's when you use your online banking to send a check, if you don't put the bill number and that information on it, it comes into town hall, and then they have to sort through, and it's a lot of extra work to tie and make sure the payment goes to the right place. If you write a check and put the copy of the bill in the envelope, it's not a problem. So we're only talking about those people who are using their electronic payment through the bank.
It'll be a real problem once the motor vehicle commitment goes out next month, because there will be a lot of bills that'll be like $56.50. It's going to go out the same time trash is, and some people pay their kids' bills that they might have a different last name than children, and it just gets really a lot of work. Because we have to print bills for our department to post them, so we're printing a bill for everyone that comes in.
And Mary, I know there's a cost associated with some notice. Matter of fact, I brought one with me that I got from one of my creditors telling me, laying out how you should do it if you do it through online banking. But you must be spending money in terms of once you get these checks and these payments in, sending payment back, get clarification, making phone calls. There's got to be time and money spent there. So I think maybe better use of resources in money to do a notice. And maybe it's just a single page that breaks down each bill with identifying information they have to insert.
Or it could be just a one-time fee to the people that program our software for the billing. Where you pay the fee once, and now it's on the bills as a reminder.
Okay, I'll look into that with our software company, or see the cost of what it would cost to send something out.
And the issue in terms of sending real estate tax bills, sending it, I guess, twice instead of 4 times. Is there any progress in that thing yet, or?
I figured it out. We buy our envelopes in bulk, so when we buy the envelopes, I buy it for real estate trash, personal property, and the water accounts. And for real estate, in personal property, we send out about 6,000 bills a year. Each quarter, excuse me. So a savings for real estate, the envelopes and the stock for it comes out to have the bills go out twice a year, and that's just real estate and personal property. The savings is $6,207.68. I spoke with other towns that have implemented this, and they said the first couple of years it's horrendous because a lot of people forget to pay, but advertise, put it in your paper, put it on your website, put it on a cable access channel, and just make sure when you do it that everybody is aware of it. You are going to get people that are going to call and say, I never got my bill, to waive the interest and everything, but they said, after people get used to it, them only going out a couple times a year.
What we're talking about here is we send the bills out twice a year, but when you get the bill, there's one for the current coming up payment and then one for 3 months later. So you have to remember to make the second payment. That's the issue. But at the same time, there's a significant savings in mailing costs. Yes, Joe.
Is there also a problem with late payments? Because people, they go in online, they press the button, they think the money automatically arrives at the town in the next. Go ahead.
They think that once the money gets taken out of their account, it's automatically deposited in the town account. But it usually takes like 5 to 7 days for us to receive.
Depending on your bank.
Depending on the bank,
Yeah.
yes. And they'll come in and say, I made the payment, they took it out of my account on this day, but we didn't receive it, because they usually wait till they have a few before they send them in. So we've had issues with people with interest. The bank. Their bank.
if you're using paying through the bank, you're talking about when they're paying their mortgages through the bank? Or are you talking about when they're using a bank check,
The online, their
online banking?
Yes.
I mean, typically the bank tells you how many days it's gonna take,
I believe, because a few people have come to me, and they said that the bank tells them like 5 days. So, I mean,
Usually
it happens a few.
Usually it appears right on your screen, it tells you what day it's going to be.
well, that depends on the bank.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have had a few issues on it.
Well, I think, overall, we have to start thinking out of the box of how we can, we're pressed with resource issues. Right? And, we may have to trade, tools and technology for people. And we have to look at places where if we're spending a lot of time doing arduous work because of the system, we ought to talk about changing the system or getting the information out to people so that we can get a little more help from our citizens who pay the taxes. Maybe they can help us out by being a little more careful about if they're going to use their bank to send a check. You can put a note in there, and maybe they just need a little instructions about what information needs to be put in there before they send a check off. I appreciate the work you have to do on the other end when you don't have that information. Any other questions regarding the collection budget at this point, Mr. O'Leary?
Greg, in relation to what's been presented tonight, I mean, where do you stand in relation to the proposal that was made and in relation to what we really actually have to do here? And obviously, I don't know what the words are last.
Respecting the board's position, and we need to go back and look at making reductions in other areas so that we have a consistent 3% savings across the board. Part of the reason why we want to go through this exercise is to show you where some of the cuts would be made. Certainly go back and have another go at it, and present that information back to the board.
Makes sense to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions for Marion? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the good work that you are.
Thank you. And I'll get back to you with the other information that you guys requested.
Elder Affairs.
Let's have Joe.
Like in the back,
25.
25.
Welcome, Mary.
As you know, my department serves the most frail members of the community. They are elderly, poor, and disabled. This year, I have close to 100 more seniors to serve than last year. Most of them are new baby boomers. Some of you may be familiar with that phrase. We have a full-time director, staff clerk, and 2 part-time van drivers. This past year, we provided 43,855 various types of services to local elders, their families, and their caregivers. Everything from wellness programs to health benefit counseling, case management, and community education. We've served 15,689 meals, either at the senior center or through our home delivered meals program. Believe it or not, one person, Brenda Bugden, delivered close to 13,000 meals by herself. We were very fortunate to be part of the Mystic Valley Elder Services community, who we are partnering with in trying to bring new elderly housing to the town. Because of their outstanding, caring, compassionate staff and quality of service, we were able to provide $479,000 of services to the elderly residents for only cash payment of $2,159, which, by the way, has not